So I've now left my dad to his somewhat boring but very lucrative waltzes and quick steps. I'm in my first band. It's so long ago, I can't remember the sequence of things. I think we started out being called the Shindigs and then moved on to be called Georgie and the Ravens, because we got a great Scottish singer named Georgie Adams. He was as wide as he was tall, but he had a great voice. And we had a good band. We had two brothers, Ian and Stuart Forrest, who were the bass player and the guitarist, and a great pal of mine, John Bosher, on lead guitar, and Georgie. And we did all the stuff that all those little bands at the time did. We played the local pubs, we played the local clubs, we played weddings, anything that would come up, we'd take the £15 on offer. I should have seen the writing on the wall very, very early. We had a manager. Everybody needed a manager. Somebody that had to take care of all the bits and pieces. I'm not going to name him because he may well still be alive. Whatever money we earned, it was just enough to cover the expenses, plus his commission. With all these shows we did, and we never actually got any money. But we had fun. To put it in context, George had a wonderful party piece. He could fire eat. He could get a piece of fire, a flaming torch, and just, I'm surprised it didn't go out because there was so much alcohol in him. I'm sure it didn't explode. But at the end of the show, George would do his fire eating bit, and that got the biggest round of applause of the night. Forget the music. It was George's fire eating that did it. Anyway, we did lots and lots of shows for an amateur band. We would definitely play 3 shows every week. And of course you would be opening for acts that were slightly further along the road than you were. And one of the big tricks that promoters used to do at that time, because it was, I wouldn't even say it was a cottage industry, it was just amateur time, you know. They would double book bands. That way they would ensure that at least one of them would turn up to play the show. And we were going to do a show in Peterborough, sort of in the Midlands of England. And we got there and found we'd been double booked. But the headliner that night was a band called the Paramounts. Now, those of you who are a little younger or not from England wouldn't really recognize that name. But the lead singer of the Paramounts became a great pal of mine. That was Gary Brooker, who a year later went to form Procol Harum. All of those wonderful songs they came out with. But because we'd been double booked and been pushed off the bill, we had a great night just being able to watch people who were better than we were. And we learned. It was a drag not to play and not get paid, but that was the nature of the beast. But eventually bands got their own back on the promoters. Once we'd done all the gigs on offer, it was hard to go back again because, oh, we've had you before. So bands changed their names. New band? Oh, we'll take them, said the promoter. That's why I'm confused about whether it was the Shindigs and Georgie and the Ravens, or Georgie and the Ravens and the Shindigs. But anyway, we changed our name. And we managed to do all the same gigs all over again. And sometimes you could see this look of mystery on the faces of the promoters thinking, I think I've seen them before. Anyway, that ran its course for a couple of years. I was now 17 and we'd played a lot of shows, and we'd done a few shows with a band who came out of Slough and Windsor, that area, just west of London. And they obviously liked the way I played. And when their drummer left, they found a way of getting in touch with me, asked me to join them. Now, any of you musicians who've been in a similar situation, your first band, it's very, very hard to make that leap, to leave it. In my case, I knew if I left, there would be nobody else to take my place. And if I left, it would fall to pieces, which it did. But I also knew when those chances come, you have to take them. You have to make that leap of faith. You know, I believe in me. This is the next step onwards. So I made it. And I never regretted it. But at the time, it broke my heart, leaving my first adult friends, my first social circle. But I had to do it. We had some wonderful times, some crazy times. I look back with great fondness and with great clarity of some of the things that happened. I'll tell you a little story about that. We entered a contest, a band contest, which were done frequently. You know, it's an easy way for the promoters to make money, get all the local bands to come in and play for nothing and win some plastic prize. Anyway, they'd convinced a very successful composer by the name of Lionel Bart, who wrote the musical Oliver and lots of other things, to come and be the judge. Well, we did this at the Carfax Ballroom in Oxford, right in the centre of Oxford. I'm not sure if it's still there anymore. It probably isn't there anymore. We were fairly late on, and George had a couple of drinks by then. And as we were going onto the stage, so Mr. Bart was going to take his position in the judging platform, and bumped into George. Well, George was a Glaswegian and didn't take to this too kindly, and threatened to burst his face. Once Lionel got on the judges' rostrum and saw who the singer was, well, I think you can guess that we didn't win. No chance at all. But it was a good little band, and it was my first stepping stone. And we'll move on to the real stuff in the next little piece, where I stopped being a semi-pro and became a professional musician. I didn't earn any more money, but I didn't have to get up in the morning to go to work. That was an improvement. Okay, bye.